Hammer Down Racing Report.
There we go. Welcome, race
Hey, we're here.
Yeah. Usually,
Welcome, race fans.
welcome, race fans. Live from the Hammer Down Racing Report home studios. This is the Hammer Down Racing Report for Thursday, October 8th, show number 151. And we fixed our video thing here. So we're actually coming at you live once again for the first time since we were in the actual Ron Miller Race Car studio at the iHeartRadio building downtown on Facebook, YouTube, and back on Twitter Periscope. So streaming back on 3 platforms and figuring things out as we go. So it could be a train wreck. I don't know. Hopefully we'll get it. Got Hammer with you, Jerry Keyser, Ron Miller, back with you tonight on the show. We'll talk to the ARCA Menards Series Springfield Dirt Mile winner, Ryan Unzicker, also dirt late model racer and doing some modified racing as well. And he should be joining us anytime now, hopefully.
Scott?
Yes, sir.
Is he aware that there's an hour time difference?
Yes, he is.
Okay.
He had some other things going on. He had some other radio interviews.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Dude.
I just wanted to make sure that we weren't going to be waiting till another
Till 8
hour.
o'clock? Yeah.
Special extended edition.
No, not that would be uncharted territory.
Yeah. So,
Got a feeling we might have it happen again here come end of this month.
I hope.
Why is that, Jerry?
Well, October 29th, we bring on Don Bounce Rider, longtime sprint car owner, and his very good friend and longtime ESPN commentator, Dr. Jerry Punch, to be with us here on the Hammer Down Race Report.
Looking forward to
Jerry,
that.
my wife's in Florida, and she was watching our show last week. And right after the show was over, she said, "Are you guys really having the Jerry Punch?" I said, "You betcha, baby, the Jerry Punch."
The Jerry Punch.
It's
That's
just
cool.
a Jerry Punch. Just one of them.
Just one of them, but it's one that everyone should probably at least recognize his voice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's click that little guy there. Hey, make sure to support our sponsors. They support us. Yeah, down there at the bottom. Each and every week making this possible so we can do this from home. Originally, when this whole shutdown started, we were just going to put the show on the shelf for a while so we could get back in the studio. Good thing we didn't, because
I'm glad we didn't, Scott. This has been okay.
not bad, yeah. I mean, we can have guests and they don't actually have to come right into the Ron Miller Race Car studio now, and we can still see them for the most part.
That was the only thing that kept me from the studio before, just the drive, because timing wouldn't work out because of having to drive up there. So getting to do it this way works out really good for me.
Speaking of former guests, Corey McCoy had a pretty good weekend, which we'll talk about here in a minute. And I see you're sporting a new T-shirt there, Ron.
I really am. You know, the chassis builder of the 911 truck finally gets some recognition.
Show us the back. Turn around.
Let's see the
back.
Some modeling. There you go. Nice. And someone tells me that you're going to be driving that truck this weekend, right?
If it survives Friday night, I guess I'm supposed to be in it Saturday.
Well, good luck.
Fremont, and we'll talk about it later, has a 2-day show this weekend.
Yeah. Coming up later on, we have Ryan Weekman's weekend weather pit stop, which is looking pretty good. We're going to tell you where Matty D's going to end up in NASCAR in 2021. That was just announced earlier today. Also, the first Hammer Down hotline. Well, the second, technically. For last week didn't really count, so I guess this one would be the first. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report. Follow us on YouTube. Listen to us on your favorite podcasting platform, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google. Those are the big ones that actually looking at some numbers. Those seem to be the biggest ones where people are checking us out on. So I'm going to go find Mr. Unzicker here because we're going to get him on here in just a minute. In the meantime, how about we skip ahead to that racing roundup, Mr. Keyser?
Sounds good. Let's move into tonight's racing roundup. Starting from last weekend, Toledo Speedway washed out the Raleigh Beal Classic due to rain on Sunday. Toledo Speedway now done for the season, hoping all the restrictions get lifted for next year when we get back to a regular season there and up at Flat Rock. Fremont Speedway was in action with DJ Foose and Nate Dussel entering championship night tied atop the 410 point standings. Despite Foose winning the feature event, Dussel's qualifying effort, heat rate finish, and second place finish in the feature earned him the 410 Sprint Track Championship by 1 point. Steve Rando dominated the 305 Sprint feature for his first win of the season. Paul Weaver finished second, which secured his third track championship. Corey McCoy won his 5th dirt truck feature of the year. Ron's guy.
Yay!
Yay! Where was I at? Sean Valenti finished second, and he earned his third dirt truck track championship. Sean having another very good year. There's a guy who's been in just about everything that can be raced and done well at it.
Those two guys totally dominated this season too. Sean was more consistent, winning 4 features. Corey a little flashier, won 5 features, but had a couple of nights where he struggled. So hats off to both of those guys. Great season.
Great job to both of them. Yeah, tremendous season at Fremont. Looks like they're all wrapped up with points. Still got some action yet to go there, though, this weekend. We'll talk about that later. At Sandusky Speedway, it was the Budweiser Cavalcade weekend. Dylan Napier won the Renegades feature on Saturday night. J.D. Lawson was the Pure Stock winner, and Chris Hamilton took the checkered flag in the Street Stocks. Sunday's action was postponed due to the rain. They'll run that on Sunday, October 18th. See, the World of Outlaw Morton Building late models were in action with Brandon Overton earning his second World of Outlaw triumph at Cherokee Speedway in the 10,000 to win Mike Duvall Memorial on Friday night. Chris Madden back to victory lane after a short dry spell there after leaving Bloomquist Racing, now with his own team. And this is only his second start with his newly badged team. Next up for the Outlaws will be the Hoosier Dirt Shootout at Kokomo Speedway on Friday, October 23rd and Saturday 24th. And then they'll be at Federated Auto Parts Speedway at I-55 after that. The Lucas Oil Late Model Series were in action with Ricky Thornton Jr. picking up his first Lucas Oil Late Model win at the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania Motor Speedway in the 32nd annual Pittsburgher 100 on Saturday for $20,000. Next up for the Lucas Oil Late Models will be the Dixie Shootout at Dixie Speedway in Georgia on this Saturday, and then Rome Speedway on Sunday for the Lucas Oil Rome Showdown. I'm sorry, I should have read ahead of the notes. These events have actually been canceled due to Hurricane Delta. Very active tropical storm season, solidly into the Greek names.
We're doing the fraternity stuff with the hurricanes now.
Delta, Alpha Chi, I don't know. World of Outlaw.
Delta.
World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars were in action with David Gravel leading flag to flag in Friday's prelude to the Champion Oil Racing National Open at Williams Grove Speedway. Everybody's talking about Kyle Larson and how great of a year he's having. David Gravel should not be overlooked. He has had a great year as well, picking up some very big wins and continuing to roll pretty good.
Yeah, he's been right there.
Yep. Donnie Schatz made his way back to victory lane on Saturday, though. Williams Grove pocketing the big $75,000 to win show. Donnie, that's his 6th National Open for Donnie Schatz. Kyle Larson finished second. Next up for the World Outlaw Sprint Car Series, the Nittany Showdown at Port Royal Speedway on this Friday and Saturday. The ARCA Menards Series was in action with Ryan Unzicker, our guest tonight, leading all but one lap in Sunday's Illinois Truck and Equipment Allen Crow 100 at the Springfield Mile at the Illinois State Fairgrounds. All but one lap? Are you sure? He's not sure.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
I guess they said Haley Deegan led a lap, but they're not sure what lap that was.
Yeah, because they're saying it was on the restart, which the leader would be the first one to cross the line. So
maybe a caution lap.
Yeah. No matter what, it was a dominant performance. Great run for Ryan. Let's see here. Haley Deegan getting her best ARCA finish in second place and the best finishing female in the dirt race. So great job for Haley. Kansas. Next up for the ARCA series will be Kansas Speedway for the season finale on Friday, October 16th on Fox Sports 2 at 10 p.m. In NASCAR, Rafael Lazar was declared the winner of Saturday's Gander RV and Outdoor Truck Series Chevy Silverado 250 at Talladega after the caution flag wave for a wreck on the backstretch. Justin Haley got his 3rd straight Xfinity Series win at Talladega on Saturday in the Ag Pro 300. Denny Hamlin came out of on top of a controversial finish in the Cup Series race on Talladega on Sunday in the third overtime. Hamlin dropped below the double yellow line to pass for the lead, but NASCAR deemed he was forced and penalized our good buddy Matt DiBenedetto, who appeared to have finished a very close second. Next up for NASCAR, the Xfinity and Cup Series are at the Charlotte Roval this weekend, with the Xfinity Series driver for the Cure 500 on Saturday. Sorry, 300, and then sorry, my printout's a little bit garbled here.
Blame the guy that sent it.
Yeah, I'll blame the printer. I should have used a better service. And at 3:30 p.m. on NBC, and the Truck Cup Series on Sunday for the Bank of America Roval 300 at 2:30 p.m. on NBC. Truck Series is off this weekend, but they're back in action at Kansas Speedway for the Clear Harbors 200 on Saturday, October 17th at 4 p.m. on Fox. And finally, the NTT IndyCar Series. Joseph Newgarden earned his first trip to Victory Lane at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course after Friday's NTT IndyCar Harvest Grand Prix presented by CMR. The doubleheader header race number 1 on Saturday will power one for the second time this year in the second half of the doubleheader. Next up for IndyCar will be the Firestone Grand Prix of St. Petersburg on Sunday, October 25th at 2:30 on NBC. Newgarden and Scott Dixon will battle for the championship at the final race at St. Pete.
What'd you guys think of that finish at Talladega in the Cup race? I mean, I was excited watching Matty D lead the final. I was like, something bad's going to happen. Something bad's going to happen. He almost pulled it off.
He did.
And then there was all that craziness in the final corners there, and a couple cars going below the double yellow line. And
I was kind of disappointed with that double line rule. It almost seemed as though NASCAR could have been playing favorites, and they probably weren't, but it sure appeared that way. There needs to be some way that rule can be enforced consistently.
Yeah, judgment calls. Anytime you have to make a judgment call, it makes the series and whoever's running the show look bad, because it looks like they're making a choice one way or another based on favoritism. And that's something I've always hated about any racetrack, when you have something in place where a judgment call comes into effect.
Jerry, you're aware, you spent some time at Oakshade Raceway, and you stop on the track, you go to the back. And sometimes that seems like a stupid rule, but it eliminates judgment calls. It's black and white. Either you stopped or you didn't.
Hey, man, that's one of the best things that, racetrack can do is a set rule. When you have a set rule like that and follow it to the T. As soon as you give somebody their spot back or decide not to do it, it ends up causing issues further down the road.
Absolutely.
I agree with what Dale Jr. Yes, that guy said during the broadcast. Just get rid of the double yellow line rule, which was originally implemented to try and cut down on the wrecks. And he's like, you're not going to have any less wrecks, because there was just a total wreck fest anyways with the rule.
Well, a lot of it was because they had a lot of the grass down the back straightaways, and those cars that go into the grass and dig in, and you see the big horrible flips like Rusty Wallace has had, and like Davey Allison did in the early 90s. They've gone and paved all that to make all that safer. So at this point, why does it? Yeah, right. Why do you need that double yellow line to stop them from going down? The only place I guess it would be a big deal is in the tri-oval.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you guys, though.
We saw cars get forced down there, and they didn't wreck.
Yeah.
I mean, Hamlin was way down there, and he made it work. Obviously, came away with the win. So, I mean, you can make it work.
Right.
I wouldn't recommend doing it every lap.
Where they dive down to get their car to turn a little better, to use the apron to make the corner. So,
how about if you can't go below the double yellow line to improve your position?
Except on the last lap.
Okay.
I think make it legal on the last lap.
Out the window.
That's right. Last lap, everything's. I mean, because if the yellow comes out, the race is over anyway. So it's whatever. Yeah. Last lap, anything goes.
Junior's right.
Have at it, boys.
I remember years ago when Mike Skinner was just joining Richard Childress Racing in the Lowe's 31. They were having the race over in Japan, and he had won like the first part of it. They were doing like 2 different legs, and they asked him how it would come down if it ended up being him and Dale Earnhardt racing for the win at the end. He says, "Hell, I'd wreck my own grandma to win a race."
That's it.
So at last lap, it's all bets are off.
Yeah, well, we'll see. From what I've I got some news on that coming up a little bit later, as far as what NASCAR stance is on that double yellow line. Somewhere there wasn't a double yellow line was at Springfield on the dirt this past weekend, and I believe we got Ryan with us now. Try and bring him in there. Can you hear us, Ryan?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, welcome
Hello.
to Hammer Down Racing Report.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your win. You've run pretty well there, but boy, you were just so dominant this year.
Yeah, we, we're that we ran there. We ran the old car, and it's been a decent car for us. But we kind of knew that we're hungry for a win. And Bill Hendren with Team Hendren Motorsports, they put together a new car for me this year, and we was all kind of going into it. Man, I hope this car is as good as the other one.
I think we got a bad connection here, Ryan.
Is that better?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. We'll try it here.
So I'm a little far away.
Sure,
it's all right.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, as Ron said, definitely congratulations. Great run at the Dirt Mile out there. You've been running the ARCA dirt races for how long now?
Well, my very first one was in 03, which I hadn't raced anything but just a dirt street stock. And so that was an interesting race, and we had a really good finish. And then we took a break for a little while. Just Bob Strait was driving the Team Hendren Motorsports car, and I just didn't have the opportunity to be able to drive. And then once Bob was looking to retire, Bill had asked me to take over. So we've been in it for, I can't really remember the years, but probably 7-8 years or something like that.
So it's been you've had a few tries at it, and this was actually your very first ARCA win on Sunday. And I know it looked like you guys were having a good time there after the race. I mean, how was this your biggest win of your career?
I would say so. I mean, we race dirt late models. That's what we normally do, and we've won some 10,000 to win shows in that. We've got over 100 dirt late model wins in my career, so we've definitely won some good races in that. But to race on the ARCA Menards and to win, I would say that's got to be the top.
You've run a few shows at our home track, Oakshade Raceway, in Ohio, and you've always looked good there.
Yeah, that's one of the tracks that I've had some success in. I won a Summer Nationals event over there, and come very close to winning a couple more Summer Nationals events over there. And we try very hard at whatever we get into, and we're just thankful that or I'm thankful that I got good people behind me.
So how different is it driving the big heavy ARCA stock car from the dirt late model?
Huge difference. A lot of people ask me that question, and the ARCA cars, yes, we're on dirt, but a lot of times they act like we're on asphalt. When the track gets blackened up and takes a little bit of rubber, the cars do get tighter, and it really displays an asphalt feel. But from the dirt late model scene, the suspension travel is probably the biggest thing that that I notice. And then the second is probably you're in a car for almost 2 hours, where I'm in my dirt late model maybe 10-15 minutes possibly.
I remember a few years ago, Bloomquist got a ride in one of the trucks at Eldora, and he tried to change the suspension around, make it more like his late model, and didn't work very well.
Yeah, we don't do none of that. I heard tell that he didn't think he needed a sway bar in the old truck, so he unhooked the sway bar. Once I heard that, when I was listening to the broadcast, I knew right then he was going to be in trouble. But I don't get involved in the setup a whole lot. Bill Hendren been doing it for a long, long time, and I just trust him and his team's ability to put a good car underneath me.
So is there anything that you can take from your dirt late model experience and that would translate over into racing on the dirt in one of the ARCA cars? I think we may have lost him.
For a minute.
Either
Buffering.
he's thinking, or he's thinking.
Buffering.
If you can still hear us, Ryan, I think we got the circle of death. Wait,
there we go.
You pop back in. You're back now.
All right, great. So yeah, I kind of forget the question now.
Is there any knowledge that you can take from driving the dirt late model that would translate into driving the ARCA car in the dirt?
Well, I kid around it a little bit. I always say, well, it's got a gas pedal and a steering wheel. So, any good race car driver can step in a seat and wheel something if and they can adjust. But it's just for me, it's hard to transition. So, like a lot of people say, you're the dirt ringer. You're used to dirt, and you should be able to jump in here and kick these boys' butt. Well, it's not quite that easy because, I only get Sunday. I only got a half an hour in practice. I think I've ran 22 laps or something like that to basically fill out a brand new car and get in a car that I haven't been into for a year. So very hard to adjust and accommodate, but we made her work.
Ryan, watching Sunday's race, a lot of the pavement guys were getting the cars a bit sideways where your car was dead straight. And I said, boy, he's not using up his tires. They're not going to catch him.
Yeah, you're right. A lot of people think when they go on that dirt, they got to kind of counter steer and they got to sling it sideways. And, we were earlier in practice because I had to, because the track still had a lot of grip in it, had a lot of the tack from the early moisture with the water truck. So we kind of really had to step sideways a little bit early on. But anytime that you blacken the track up and that it gets dirty and it kind of gets dusty, you can't step it out sideways,
right?
Because you're just going to burn your tires off.
So were you worried with
my son in the background?
Yep. I was going to say you're being photobombed.
Were you worried there with on that last late or the overtime restart, I guess, with Haley Deegan right behind you? Because she's kind of got a little bit of a history of bumping people out of the way on the last lap there. What was going through your mind on that restart, that last restart?
Yeah, well, I was really worried about the 20 car because the 20 car had passed the 23 car late in the race, and he had a good charge at me. And, he seemed to be really fast at the end. But then on that restart, we was able to power ahead of him, and he got in the crash. Looks like he got a little sideways. But with Haley starting on the outside of me, all it could have took was one bad shift or me get squirrely going into turn one, and she could have overpowered. So, we just, for me, I just focused on, not spinning the wheels on the restart and just getting into turns one nice and straight.
If I remember right, with your late model, you've run Springfield a few times. Did that help you at all?
I've never been on the Springfield mile with the late model.
Really?
That'd be fast.
Yeah.
They used to run
I
there.
ran there I ran a couple times back when they were still doing the late model shows, and it's fun.
Yeah, they unfortunately don't do that anymore. I don't even think I was racing at the time they were doing the Springfield miles. I don't even think I I know I went to watch in the stands, but never participated with the late model.
You got the Mars Racing Series is having their final races this weekend. You're third in points there. What's your chances on getting that?
Yeah, we was actually, I believe we was leading the points there a few weeks back, and we had a DNF, and that we surrendered the lead. But yeah, we're pretty pumped for this weekend. It's really good paying races. We got a 5,000 Friday at Peoria, Illinois. We got 15,000 on Saturday at Fairbury American Legion Speedway, which is my home track, and then another 10,000 Sunday at LaSalle, Illinois. So very excited about the upcoming weekend. We're really hoping that we can put a 3-day run together to maybe get those points back. And we just learned yesterday that the Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model Series canceled their events in Georgia. So a lot of those cars and heavy hitters are going to be chasing the money too.
Speaking of all those races in Illinois, Ryan, you became only the third driver from Illinois to win at Springfield this past weekend. What's it mean for you to put your name on that short of a list of guys with that long, illustrious race?
Really a lot. I mean, that's something that I dreamed of, getting that win for Hendren Motorsports. He's been trying for so long. He's had some good, talented drivers in the past drive for him, and they weren't able to get it done for him. So for me to do it for the Hendren family and everybody involved over there is huge. For myself, just winning an ARCA Menards Series event, man, it's it has sunk in because I've been able to do radio shows like this one and talk to a lot of people, and there's so many text messages and calls and people congratulate me. So it's just really awesome. Honestly, it's got to be a highlight for sure. I've had an awesome week. Just put it that way.
Any chance you'll be going full-time ARCA racing anytime soon? Maybe, or are you just going to stick with the dirt stuff?
No. Yeah, we've only run one asphalt race in the ARCA car, and that was back in Salem, Illinois, or Salem, Ohio. Other than that, we've only did the 2 dirt races for Hendren Motorsports. So they're just a small team. They got one car, one motor. They rent a rear end. They rent a transmission and stuff. So their team's just not capable. They're just a bunch of old farmers, retired farmers in Central Illinois, and they do it to have fun. So,
all right. So,
there's no chance unless there's some team that says, hey, they want Ryan Unzicker to drive. I just show up and race.
All right. Well, I know you got some other radio shows to do here, but I got one last question for you. Are you going to be at the Gateway Dirt Nationals this year, assuming that they're still happening?
It's buffering. He'll be back.
Can you hear me, Ryan?
I recognize that little kid in the background.
Yeah,
Scott.
you're back.
Okay.
He was in Victory Lane with Ryan.
Yeah. There he is. Are you going to be at the Gateway Dirt Nationals this year?
Oh, absolutely, for sure. We had a disappointing run there last year. We was battling for the lead with Tyler, and just unfolded a bad turn of events. So I think with 9 to go, I feel like we really should have won that event. We had a better car. I feel like we had chased him down and caught him, and was just working to pass him, and unfortunately that didn't work out in our favor. But we've had some strong runs there, and we can show the crowd this year we can get her done.
When you get to Gateway, make sure you say hello to our good friend Rusty Schlenk.
Yeah, Rusty actually he shot me a text message out on Sunday and congratulated me. So
I'm sure he did.
He's a good man. He's a good racer and a fellow competitor. He definitely. I mean, we've talked for many years.
Yep.
You know, just about racing. He's a good guy.
Any plans to run the Summer Nationals next year?
Boy, we did it for so long. We tried so hard for so many years to get it done, and just with my son growing up and work, it's really hard to step away anymore for that whole month. It takes a whole crew to get it done, and I've just never been able to find a good solid 3 or 4 guys that can go for the whole month. And you know,
got to find some guys with a lot of vacation time.
Absolutely. So my guys, they all work, and they can only afford to take 4 or 5 days off throughout that month, and it's just really hard to put a good team together to do that. So we've elected the last few years just to hit and miss the races that we feel we're good at, and take it as that.
All right. Well, good luck, and we hope to see you back at Oakshade sometime soon.
Yeah, I was disappointed. We was going to come out there this year for the Summer Nationals, but they decided not to have it. So, we'll definitely be back. We run good out there, and we like supporting that event. I love the $20 pit passes and all the fans coming down in there before the race. It just makes it nice.
All right. Well, we appreciate the time, Ryan Unzicker. Again, congratulations on your big ARCA win this past Sunday.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yep,
congratulations.
Congratulations to you and your crew chief there.
All right.
He's styling with the shades back there. All right, you. Ryan. See ya.
Bye-bye.
There you go. Ryan Unzicker, winner at ARCA, right there, right behind Jerry there on the screen. Got the nice big trophy. And there's
got his boy on the door with him there. Very cool picture.
Excellent. Unfortunately, it didn't have the greatest connection there with him, but at least you got to see him. That was kind of cool. Or if you're listening to us on iHeartRadio, go look at a picture of him, and then you can pretend. Or come back to this. Either way. I'll make Ryan less big, or Jerry less big here. There we go.
Yeah.
Before
Nobody
we
wants
continue
to
on,
see all that.
Yeah. We still have the weekend weather pit stop with Ryan Weekman. We got to talk about the weekend there at Fremont. Big Jim Joanne Ford Classic, 2 days fast and all-stars, both in action. 5,000 to win tomorrow, 10,000 on Friday. So Fremont going out with a bang. And the professor is going to be racing. So, I mean,
that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Rumor has it.
Maybe he'll get offered a sprint ride as well.
You know, I was telling Corey McCoy that it's really put me in a tough spot because he's been so dominant in that truck that if I don't go out there and run well in it, I suck. And
okay.
Oh no!
Yeah, some breaking news we just put up on the screen. What's that?
The dominoes are falling.
Yeah.
Clint Boyer steps away from full-time racing to work the Fox Sports. I like he's a fun guy to listen to.
I think he's very entertaining.
Well, you guys know the other piece to that, right? We've talked about some of the silly seasoning. Alex Bowman is going to be inheriting the 48 car.
Yes.
Because there's a possibility not enough sponsorship, which would leave Childress with only 3 cars. Now, Clint Boyer is leaving Tony Stewart to go to the booth, so that leaves a certain somebody who's been itching to come back.
Somebody who's been winning a lot of races on the dirt?
Yeah, someone who's pocketed a lot of money this summer that a lot of dirt guys beat.
There's a lot of sprint car guys that would be thrilled to see that happen.
Well, before we get to all the rest of our news here, I want to mention our sponsors real quick. We didn't do that earlier. Ron Miller Race Cars, of course, 734-856-7223. For race cars, parts, safety, equipment, service, everything a racer needs. Millstream Speedway. I posted some pictures of the track. They had worked the track a little bit.
Boy, that sure looked good.
Yeah, and
until you zoom in.
A little bit of water, and we could be having some serious fun.
I think there's some plans to put some new clay down as well, but yeah, those pictures, I think like 10,000 people have seen those. It got shared a lot. That was a pretty big post there. People are excited about Millstream Speedway. They will be returning to racing as soon as they can. It's right now the restrictions related to COVID-19 and the health department keeping them from opening and also running out of time for this year. So most likely we'll be seeing a return in 2021. I know there's a push to get them to do a hangover-like race or Hangover 2 since New Year's Day is
because the weekend,
the sequel.
That weekend works out well.
Yeah, what is that? A Friday and then Saturday is like
Friday,
the
Saturday. Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, Ron's got some influence there, so
I've got nothing.
Make sure to follow them on social media.
We do have a couple of race cars that would definitely be there.
I got one that would be there.
Yeah.
Follow them on Twitter.
I think about digging out of the weeds.
Facebook, millstreamspeedway.net to keep up to date there. And also freeze frame photos for all your racetrack photos, whether on the track or victory lane. Over 20 years of racing memories at Oakshade Raceway, Toledo Speedway, and other local tracks. Photo shoots by appointment, 419-476-9978. And now, to get to some racing news here. Some of this we've already kind of touched upon. The Superstar Racing Experience officials have formed a partnership with Fury Race Cars to design and build the chassis that will be used when the series debuts in 2021. I haven't seen what the cars are going to look like yet, but I mean, there's been some renderings, so nobody really knows what these things are going to be looking like. If you don't know what we're talking about, the Superstar Racing Experience, otherwise known as SRX, the Tony Stewart and who's the other guy?
Everham.
Ray Everham, yes. Putting together a series kind of like the old IROC series with a bunch of, I don't want to say old has-beens, but how about some legends
too?
Speaking of legends, they should get Randy LaJoie involved. Then they could get Dwayne Hancock excited about it.
Okay.
I don't know if you noticed in the comments. Me and Dwayne have a long-running joke about Randy LaJoie, so that's
okay. Radio for two there.
Yeah.
Where was I? Oh, the car will be a joint design project between SRX and Fury, with the final product being a slight variation of the chassis used in their existing Model R road racing car. Fury will be responsible for building all the chassis kits, while the SRX team will handle final assembly and maintenance in-house. I'm surprised that Romular Race Cars wasn't part of that.
I thought we had our name pretty well in the mix, and it didn't happen.
So Richard Petty made a comment this past week that I kind of lost a little respect for the king there. He said after the announcement of the Bristol Dirt Race that's going to be on the Cup schedule next spring, quote, "There's some politics involved, and I don't want to annihilate NASCAR on this." I can't do a Richard Petty voice. I probably shouldn't even try.
I can't do it.
I guess I'm looking at it from an old time deal because we spent years and years and years trying to become a professional sport. Years and years to get away from that stigma, but dirt track racing is not professional. So we're going backward. It would be like taking a professional football team and going back to play at a high school field. Your guys' thoughts on that?
Kind of ruffled some feathers there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Ask Kyle Larson whether dirt racing is professional or not.
Well, how about we arrange a match race between the King and Red Farmer? I don't want to hear the King say he's too old if he takes on Red Farmer.
87 years old, 86 years old.
Who's that? The King or Red?
Red Farmer.
Or both.
I don't know how 80. I guess he'll admit to 86, turning 87. Ooh, maybe he just did. Real soon.
You're giving him some extra years, aren't you, Ron?
Yeah. he had a bout with the virus, and he came back racing last weekend. Unless they got rained out, I didn't see any results. But he was planning on running hot laps in a heat race, and if he felt well enough, he was going to run the feature. Otherwise, he'd plug someone else in the car. But he's definitely back, and he's a tough old bird.
And the thing about these comments, I think, wasn't it Richard Petty that won the last NASCAR dirt race? Yeah, back in like 1970.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep.
Moving on, NASCAR's explanation of those penalties we were talking about at the end of the Cup race at Dega there. The 21, De Benedetto, hung a left, drove those guys. This is a quote. I should probably start off. Quote, it was pretty clear cut. This is what NASCAR Senior Vice President of Competition Scott Miller said. Start over. Quote, it was pretty clear cut. The 21 De Benedetto hung a left, drove those guys down below the line. We called that twice on the 22 car, Joey Logano, during the race, so nothing different there. On the 24 Byron and the 11 Hamlin being down there, I mean, in our judgment, they were down there to avoid a wreck. I think all of it was, from our vantage point, I think fairly clear cut. Miller asserted that NASCAR will not consider eliminating the rule, believing that, quote, there would probably be even more wrecks. We certainly don't need more wrecks than what we saw today, unquote. So,
unfortunately, Scott, there is nothing in all of motorsports that's clear cut.
And then you put the judgment calls in there. And
how could the director of racing for NASCAR come out with a statement like, we thought it was clear cut?
Yeah. Well, so that people don't question them, I guess.
Wrecks really happen a half a lap, 3/4 of a lap before they really...
And there was a wreck that actually happened prior to that. It was behind the race for the lead, and they didn't throw the caution. And then, and I was kind of hoping they would. Usually I don't, but I'd like to see Matt De Benedetto win a race. So I was kind of like, throw the caution, throw the caution, throw the caution, throw the caution. Oh, crap.
Well, here we are, right back where we started the show. There is no consistency in their programming, in their decisions.
And I believe instead of finishing he was brokenhearted about finishing, 3 feet, 2 feet in second to Hamlin, and then he's got a penalty, so he ends up finishing, I believe it was like 21st.
I thought they rescinded that penalty, no?
No, I don't think so. They gave a penalty to Chris Buescher, and I think they had given one to Chase Elliott, but then they rescinded that one because they said it was Buescher that pushed him down. I believe that's the way that went. Did you hear this rumor about Tony Stewart? I know Jerry did.
He's going straight.
Yeah.
That's the rumor. According to
him and John Force.
According to Nitro Reports, Tony Stewart will be wheeling an NHRA Top Fuel dragster. Again, I got this from a Facebook page where anybody can post anything. So the sources, I don't know how legit it is, but Nitro Reports is the page on Facebook that is reporting this, that he was spotted getting fitted for safety equipment at an unnamed safety company. And I believe it was in Indianapolis. Hailie Deegan. Did you hear the Hailie Deegan news? Speaking of her finishing second to Ryan Unzicker this past weekend. She is going to make her NASCAR Truck Series debut next weekend at Kansas Speedway. That's going to be on the 17th. The 19-year-old from California is set to drive the number 17 Ford DGR, or the Ford 4 DGR Crosley. She currently sits third in the ARCA Menards Series points. So she's having a pretty good season there. And moving up just kind of like Natalie Decker did. I think maybe a little bit slower than Decker. And speaking of Natalie Decker, there's that weird deal that happened, was it 2 weeks ago? Something like that, where she wasn't cleared to race, and the team had, Nice Motorsports had to bow out, right before the race because they couldn't get, a replacement right before. And she hasn't really said anything until, I believe this was yesterday, maybe it was today. But she kind of explains what was going on, what happened there. And here to tell you what's going on with Natalie Decker is Natalie Decker.
I have not been medically cleared lately to be racing, and it started in Vegas. So let's go back to Vegas, and I will let you all in on what happened. So we flew out there. I was feeling fine. I mean, not the best, but I was feeling okay. And finally race day come, and I did not feel good at all. So I went to the infield care center and they ran my vitals like they normally do. And I had a really high heart rate and really high blood pressure. And they did not want me going out in that race and putting the stress on my body and maybe having one get higher or too high and having me black out. So that is why they did not clear me. The bad news is I'm still not cleared. I still have very high blood pressure, and there's something, maybe a medication or something in my body right now that's making that happen, but it's very minor. It's not something scary. So we're gonna figure that out here in the next couple of days. Cross your fingers. And then I will be medically cleared to come back and race.
There you go. Fingers are crossed.
Your fingers are crossed.
You can watch her whole statement. It's a little bit longer there. It's on her Twitter account.
Maybe that high blood pressure passing out thing is what happened to Dale Earnhardt Sr. a few years ago.
Well, Natalie had her gallbladder removed?
Yeah.
Some kind of surgery. Anyway, somebody sent me a message just the other day about a new dirt track.
Really?
Yeah. Ron's ears perked up. It's a quarter midget track at Lucas County Rec Center down in Maumee. They have a new dirt track down there, and I guess it looks like they've been racing a couple weeks now. It's fairly new. Working on getting to talk to somebody from the Toledo Quarter Midget Club, I guess is running that deal to learn a little bit more. It's like they have the paved track down there.
Bill Marsh left here just before the show. Should have said something.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out, but it's like on the south end of the grounds over there at the Lucas County Rec Center, from what I hear. And they got
and that's really great, because it wasn't more than a year or so ago that they were talking about doing some development in that area and doing away completely with the quarter midget track, which has had, 50 or 60 years of history. Yeah.
So we'll get more information on that. It was like brought to my attention. I was like, hey, that's kind of a cool deal. So, I think we may have lost Jerry. He's frozen. Oh no, there he is.
He moved.
There he moved. Okay.
Yeah,
Alex Bowman. We mentioned Alex Bowman's going to be driving the 48 Chevrolet Camaro for Hendrick Motorsports next season with Ally as the sponsorship. And, that whole shuffling, as Jerry had mentioned there before, maybe opening up a ride for Mr. Larson. I don't know. Nothing has been official. NASCAR did announce today the Hall of Fame will postpone. The NASCAR Hall of Fame will postpone the induction ceremony and induction week events for the class of 2021. The decision was made in partnership with NASCAR after very thorough and thoughtful conversations regarding how best to plan and execute one of the sport's most cherished moments. While facing the ongoing uncertainties of the COVID-19 pandemic. The induction ceremony, which was set to take place on Friday, February 5th, 2021, is now anticipated for early 2022. The class of 2021, of course, consists of Dale Earnhardt Jr., Red Farmer, the late Mike Stefanik, and Landmark Award recipient Ralph Seagraves. And Mike Wallace's final appeal on his indefinite suspension was heard, and the verdict was announced yesterday that the penalty would be upheld.
Yeah.
So he is out of options as far as getting that penalty overturned. And if you don't remember, he was suspended for making social posts or something.
Yeah, politically. Yeah, in the political climate, he made some insensitive posts, is what they said. So
yeah.
Sensitivity training is in his future.
More judgment calls there. Is what you could say. And then we have some breaking news here. Some other breaking news, not the Clint Boyer breaking news. This would be
more stuff is broken.
No, Matt Benedetto. He's got a ride for 2021.
All right.
They announced earlier today he originally signed a 1-year deal with Wood Brothers to drive the number 21 for this year. Right. He's got another year now. He's going to be driving for Wood Brothers again.
Oh, good.
In 2021, and then I believe Austin Cendrick takes over that ride in 2022. Excuse me. All right, all better now.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I use my cough button. It works. That's all the news that I have for this week.
Scott, you were talking about February and things coming up. East Bay Raceway put their schedule out for speed weeks, and
I hadn't seen that.
starting January 18th through February 20th. The modifieds are going to be there the
Wait,
first
you said
couple of weeks.
February 18th? That seems kind of late, isn't it?
January.
Oh, January 18th.
January 18th through
That seems a little early.
Through February 20th. That's
a
the
lot of racing.
Daytona Speed Weeks.
Okay.
The first week is going to be modifieds. Lucas Oil is going to be down there January 24th to the 30th. Sprint Cars All-Star Series is going to be down there February 2nd, 3rd, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And then crate late models, 360 sprints, mini sprints, micro sprints will fill out the rest of the month of February. So over a month of racing at East Bay Raceway.
I think Jerry's pulling it up there. Yeah, look at that.
That's it.
That's a lot of racing. It's like the Summer Nationals in winter. Thus, it's called the Winter Nationals.
Yeah.
All
Pretty
right.
amazing.
Crazy the way that works out. So last week we did how many? Well, every week we do how many. How about we do how many right now?
How many, Scott?
That was a terrible transition. So last week's how many was how many UTEC Silver Crown cars will finish the feature Sunday at Toledo Speedway. And as you know, that Rally Beal Classic, of course,
that was a 0.
got rained out. And yeah, of course, Jerry picked 0. He's the winner.
Not happy to win that one, though.
Congratulations on that. And our online winner of a Big D's Pizza, Jimmy Ward. Jimmy Ward Jr., actually.
Congratulations, Jimmy.
Speaking of which, what's the story with Jimmy Ward going from the dirt? He went from pavement, and Ron convinced him to start running a dirt late model for a couple of years, and now he's running a sprint car.
Yep, and really enjoying it. I guess he's improving quite a bit. I guess there's more of a learning curve there than he thought, but he'll be in action this weekend at Fremont Speedway.
Is it a 305 he's running then?
Yes.
Interesting. All right, so probably next year it'll be a 410. The week after that, he'll probably do some off-road dirt trucks.
Yeah.
Jimmy just
Diversity is everything.
Yeah, he's just finding where he fits. Well, he's got a Big D's Pizza, so congratulations to Jimmy. If you want to win a Big D's Pizza, all you got to do is be the closest to guess this week's how many. Oh, crap, I forgot about the city paper. We didn't talk about that, did we?
Oh,
No.
All right, well, let's do this week's how many, and then we'll talk about the city paper thing. This week's how many, obviously with Fremont being the only game in town, we're going to talk about that. And how many 410s will be in action Saturday night at Fremont, the 10,000 to win show with the fast guys and the All-Stars.
All-Stars.
Oof.
You have to go first, Jerry, because you won. So
Alex Bowman's new number, 48.
not his old number. You're not going to go with 88.
Mr. Hammer, you're next.
Yeah. I'm going to go with 45. What do you got, Ron?
44.
It's going on the low end.
Yeah.
All right, Ron. I expect you to count all of them when you get there.
Yeah, okay.
You can play along too. The vote or the guesses already coming in on our Facebook Live comments. Actually, I can see our. You know what? We're gonna loop in our YouTube and Periscope comments as well. So everybody, you can comment on any of our live broadcast videos, YouTube, Periscope, or Facebook, and put your guess in. Look, we got one from YouTube already. So
Yep.
All right, our very first YouTube guess.
Kathy got a guess this week?
No, Kathy's in Florida, and I'm sure she's watching the show, but she wouldn't have a clue how to.
I figured she
send
would
the
text it to
message.
you.
I forgot about these too.
Oh,
Dean
Oh,
Steele
yeah.
brought these over. We got our own flags here. I know Matt Swander's all jealous. So don't make me use this flag if you guess more than once. You do get this flag. you get the black flag. For those of you listening on iHeartRadio, can't see what I'm holding
you
up.
do that like a regular professional, Scott. Come on, you got to
We
put
need the red flag. I don't have much room here. There's like microphones and stuff everywhere. So, thanks to Gene Steele, we have our own flag set now. Gene Steele and the Vintage American Race Cars. But anyways, as I was mentioning, the rules to play along, whoever guesses closest will get that Big D's pizza, courtesy of Big D's out there in Clyde. And if two people guess the same number, whoever guessed it first will get credit. If you guess more than twice, you get the black flag. I don't know. Any other rules? Whatever I say goes. That's pretty much it. So if you're listening to us on iHeartRadio, not live, it's okay. You still have time. We'll let you guess up until, we'll say, gates open at 4. So we'll say 4 o'clock on Saturday, the 10th.
I think we ought to shut it off at 3. I
think so.
Do the gates open a little early? I don't want somebody.
4.
I don't want somebody.
All right.
Yeah.
And since I make the rules, I'm very influenced by Ron, so we'll go with 3. There you go.
Works for me.
All right. Not too many people guess late, anyways. We get a few straggler guess. Of course, racing action this weekend limited to Fremont Speedway in our neck of the woods, in our immediate area. There's racing going on a little bit further out if you want to go further out, but Fremont Speedway hosting the finale, I guess, of the All-Star Circuit of Champions schedule with a double header. Friday night, it's the night number 1 of the 13th annual Jim and Joanne Ford Classic, featuring the Fast 410 Sprints and the All-Star Circuit of Champions 410 Sprints. $5,000 to win for that. 305 Sprints and the Dirt Trucks in action. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. General admission tickets are $20 for Friday night. Saturday night, it's the 13th annual Jim and Joanne Ford Classic, night number 2, featuring Ron Miller racing a dirt truck.
Oh.
Also, the Fast 410 Sprints will be there, as well as the All-Star Circuit of Champions. $10,000 to win for that. Big show. 305 Sprints and the dirt trucks back in action again.
Is it $10,000 to win for the dirt trucks too, Scott?
Maybe if you race with the Sprints.
Oh.
And you beat
or
them.
if Ron Miller Race Cars sponsors the truck.
Oh, there you go. They probably would be up to that. If you want to put $10,000 up on the line, I'm sure they'll make it the Ron Miller Race Cars Dirt Truck Feature event.
Yeah.
Is it the Burmeister Trophy Dirt Truck Series, I believe?
There is another event going on Saturday.
Ron's not saying anything now.
I'm just stunned.
Oh, what's that, Jerry?
There is another event going on Saturday that was just announced this week. Montpelier Motor Speedway over in Indiana will be running UMP Dirt Car Modifieds, Super Streets, Thunder Cars, and Compacts all in action. Gates, I believe, open at 3, hot laps at 5, racing at 6:30.
Have you heard anything?
I'm pretty sure this is the weekend for I-96 and their big 2-day show, too.
I did see something about their big deal up there at I-96 as well.
I think it's non-wing sprints, late models, pro stocks.
Have you heard anything on the Monster Mash at Montpelier Speedway?
Believe they are shooting for the 24th as of right now, with a rain date of the 31st. I'll know more after the Saturday, as I will be chief scorer at Montpelier Speedway.
Oh, all right. Well, we expect a full report next week.
You'll get it.
Back to Fremont Speedway. Gates open at 7, racing, or gates open at 7. Gates open at 4, racing at 7 on Saturday. General admission $25 for that $10,000 to win show. So not too bad on the gate price for that huge show. And the Sandusky Speedway deal, the Cavalcade, of course, Sunday's event getting rained out. That's been rescheduled to Sunday, October 18th. So we'll talk more about that next week. So with that, how about we find out what that forecast is going to be like with the weekend weather pit stop forecast, featuring, of course, our very own WTOL meteorologist and Hammer Down Racing Report meteorologist, Ryan Weekman. Let's check it out.
Here is your weekend weather pit stop forecast. I'm First Alert meteorologist Ryan Weekman. We're heading to Fremont both Friday and Saturday evening, and we're heading back to summertime forecast. How about this for our Friday night? A little bit of a southwest breeze. It'll be gusty at times, especially in the afternoon, but it'll start to settle down a bit by 7 p.m. and the start of the races. Temperatures likely in the mid to upper 60s, even the lower 70s at the start of race time. Saturday, a near repeat throughout the day. One thing we'll be watching, a little bit of a front that'll drop off Lake Erie late in the day. I still expect it to be dry, but later in the evening, temperatures may cool off a bit quicker Saturday evening than Friday. Overall, for mid-October, about as good as it gets for Northwest Ohio. I'm First Alert meteorologist Ryan Weekman.
Toledo City paper has... Oh, go ahead. What?
Why does Ryan's picture look like he's releasing a Christmas album?
That's his Facebook. That was his official profile image on Facebook. And maybe he
we
is.
had to talk him into a Christmas album. Yeah.
We had him on the show in the end of July last year with Rusty Schlenk, and they were both in the studio. Actually was just rewatching that last night because there's a lot of weather-related items that came up, like rivers blocking tornadoes and the vortex. He never knew anything. Ryan Weekman didn't know anything about the racing vortex.
Had never heard of it.
I believe his exact quote when I explained to him what that was, "That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard." But then Rusty was there, and he's like, "No, it's true, man. I've never."
It really works. Yeah.
Anytime it rains and we stop a race, it was under yellow or there was no racing going on. It just never stopped a race, never started raining while the green flag was out. And so he was like, "Well, I stand corrected then. Obviously, I'm dumb, and this is true." So if you have a chance, check that show out. Ryan comes in later. I believe it's like July 24th of 2019. Anyway,
that's on iHeartRadio, right?
iHeartRadio, yeah. I think we got the video. It's if you got to scroll way back on our Facebook videos as well. But yeah, it's on there. That was a good one.
Every show we've ever done is there, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. I think so. I haven't deleted any.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, maybe I should have. But as I started to say, make sure to nominate us. Maybe you won't now, but it's probably the wrong time to do this, for the Toledo City paper Best of Toledo deal. They have that going on now through the 18th of October, the nomination phase. So hit up our Facebook page, facebook.com/Hammerdown Racing Report. I have a pinned post with a link directly to the nomination page, so you don't have to work very hard. Just click on that, scroll down to the podcast category, type in Hammerdown Racing Report, and we'll say thank you. And we'll give you the checkered flag.
Yay!
So
everyone's a winner with the Hammer Down Race Report.
Absolutely.
Is that a hammer down attaboy?
Yes, that's what that'll be. And again, we were one of the finalists in 2018, so we hope to be back on there. We didn't push it as hard last year. I blame us. We didn't campaign as hard last year to make it onto the ballot. So we're trying this year. Let's get us on the ballot. Vote. Make your voice heard.
That's it.
Yeah. So with that, we'll move on here. A couple more things to cover. We have the white flag. Final lap of the Hammer Down Racing Report. Somebody take these flags away from me. Thanks to associate producer Dave Kemmer, field correspondent Matt Swander, Doug Dock. I guess Matt's going to be talking to a surgeon. Flagman at Oakshade Raceway had some knee issues, so he's going to give us an update on his condition next week on the Hammer Down Hotline, which you two can call anytime you want to leave a message, talk about anything racing related. I thought I had that somewhere. Maybe I don't.
You did, I thought.
I thought I did.
You used to.
Well, that was on the old system. I forgot to put it on this one yet, but the number will be up here in a second. It's 419-318-3081. It's on our Facebook page. And again, that number again, get your pen, 419-318-3081. Couple calls for this week's Hammer Down Hotline. Even a voice from the past. You might recall the Wrecker Report. Remember that, Ron?
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, let's check out this.
Gary Cox.
Let's check out this week's Hammer Down Hotline.
Thanks for doing such a great job on your show. Love it. Talk to you soon. Bye.
This is Perry, long-time listener, first-time caller. You know, I was just wondering, why does racing seasons end so early? Is it because of football? Is it because of school? I mean, speaking as a sweaty fat guy, the weather just got to where I like to be outside. But seriously, what is your take on it? Why don't most tracks race until October?
Originally, I was going to play that as that can be the end of the show, but now he asked us a question. So, Ron, you've been around the longest, have the most experience. What's your answer?
I think the grandstands just start to fall off, and tracks, at least in the past, Scott, found it unprofitable to keep going. But the seasons are changing, life is changing. I'd love to see some of the local tracks get brave and try to run well into October.
And that's kind of what Fremont is
November,
usually. Fremont's
December.
usually done by now, and this is
Right.
pretty late for them. They started late, obviously. And we've talked to several tracks about this in the past. I know Attica, Rex Lejeune had said that, they start so early in the season because they can't compete with high school football because they're a Friday night track. So they start early in the season, the end of March, or they try to when the weather cooperates. So a lot of it is schools back in session, and now the schools kind of changed too because now kids are going back. Well, this year doesn't count. This is like a wild card year.
Yeah,
this is the Joker deck, the Joker card in the deck, but. Schools kids are going back to school earlier now, so I don't know if that makes a difference on anything, and I don't know why school would make a difference for especially Saturday night tracks. But
school functions, choir, band, things like that do still happen on the weekends, on Saturdays especially, not so much on Sundays. But speaking of Sundays, when Randy and Lisa Hammer had Millstream, one of the cool things they did, their biggest event of the year was in October. The Trick or Treat 30s, and sure. it garnered quite a bit of response from fans, and I'd love to see more of that.
And maybe we will. I mean,
out of Scott. That's up to Scott, but I mean everywhere, not just Millstream. I mean, there's a few other places that could definitely do it and benefit, I think.
And the Montpelier, they've been having that Monster Mash, which has been a pretty big event for how many years now? I think I went to like the 13th one, so they got to be up there now.
Talking with Harold, he's a little concerned he's going to run out of transponders.
I'll bring my own if he lets me race.
Yeah, probably I don't know what division you'd be in, but it'd be fun to see you up there.
Probably what divisions are they planning on running?
For the Monster Mash, I don't know for sure. I know right now for their regular show this week is going to be the UMP Modifieds, the Super Street Stocks, and Thunder Cars, and then their front-wheel drive compacts, which they got a couple rear-wheel drive compacts that sometimes they let run with them. I don't know how that's going to work out, but
you can bring your truck out.
I've thought about it. It's very hard. I don't have enough time or the means right now to get it ready, unfortunately. But that would be the way to go.
And I think this weekend's usually the weekend they have a Run What You Brung show.
Yeah, they've always done their Run What They Brung. Yeah. I don't know if he's going to do that again, or if he does, it may be running maybe the 31st if the Monster Mash doesn't get rained down or anything like that.
Right.
Again, I would certainly like to see a true Run What You Brung show with the Monster Mash.
That would be interesting. Get it wide open.
A couple of cars from this area would definitely be there.
One with a green 35 on it. I haven't seen that car in a while.
That motor is in the 95 car right now. So
okay,
that explains all the good runs he's been having this season.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry, we expect a full report on what's going on at Montpelier, Indiana. There, Montpelier Speedway.
Absolutely, looking forward to it. Like I said, going to be in the tower this weekend for him over there and get to see what's going on, and hopefully seeing what they have planned for the future. I'll kind of put a bug in with some of the staff and see what they plan on doing from here.
Very good.
All right. Well, don't forget to tune in next Thursday night, 7:00 live. We'll have something cool on. We'll have probably an update on that Lucas County Rec Center dirt track quarter midget thing. What's up, Jerry?
Don't forget, October 29th.
Yep.
Dr. Jerry Punch, Bounce Rider, right here live on the Hammer Down Race Report.
And we're going to have them. We won't have them just on the phone. They're going to be video.
They're going to be live in the chat. Be right here with us. You get to see their faces and hear some great stories from the past. Like I said, Bounce Rider got to start running with Hewitt for years in the early years, and obviously Jerry Punch. He's done it all in the sport and outside of the sport too. Not only racing, he's a commentator for NCAA football as well.
So again, that's coming up on October 29th. So that'll be one of the shows, if you listen to us on iHeartRadio, that you might want to make other plans if you can, and check out the video broadcast. I know nobody wants to see this ugly face at all, so it's probably better listening on iHeartRadio. But
That's why I put that up, to distract people from looking here.
That's good. I like that. Good thinking. Jerry's a thinker. Thanks again to our sponsors, Ron Miller Race Cars, 734-856-7223, Millstream Speedway, millstreamspeedway.net, freeze frame photos, 419-476-9978. Again, if you would like to be a sponsor, put your name on the scroll here. Contact me, send us a message on our Facebook page. $25. We have a special. It's the fall special, $25. We'll get you on there for a month, 4 shows. So
that's cheap.
Good deal.
That's so cheap, Scott.
Hey,
Scott,
I'm not trying to make money. I'm not trying to make money.
I'm just trying to pay for the show.
I'm just trying to pay for all this fancy stuff we got going on here in this screen. Here, you want to see something cool? For those of you that stuck around this late and you're actually still watching, I'll show you what I actually see here. Hey, look at that. Whoa!
Ooh.
It's crazy. It's like Infinite Us down. Like I can almost see way down in there. So we got to pay for all this somehow.
Hey, Scott. I'm gonna beam out of here.
And see, and Jerry can turn into a brick wall.
Hey, good night, everybody.
Good night, Jerry.
I feel like I'm talking to a wall. All right, it's time to go.
All right, I'm out.
Here. All right, we'll see you next week. He's having way too much fun. 7:00. Tune in. Follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report. Follow us, like us on Facebook, all those other places. We'll see you next week. Bye.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report. Listen on demand on iHeartRadio.